And today in studio we have two gentlemen, that is Jared Otieno and Mr. Peter Masis. I said it right, Mr. Peter Masis. So 21st of September was World Alzheimer's Day. And today we are looking to understand World Alzheimer's Day, what's been happening in our country, who does it affect, all right? So most of the times I'm looking at this, and the organization is working to raise awareness and improve care for people with Parkinson's disease in Kenya. And there is a need, it's an important opportunity to highlight neurodivergent diseases, including Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, which are often misunderstood, under-discussed, and continue to affect millions worldwide. Can you believe that Parkinson's disease alone affects more than 10 million people globally, and cases are steadily rising in Kenya? So today we're going to have that conversation. In studio we have two gentlemen. Good morning, Jared.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
And good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yes. So Jared and Peter are from Kenya Parkinson's Care Network. Let's get into it, please. What exactly is Parkinson's disease and what causes it?
Okay, Parkinson's disease is a mental disorder where you find there is a seizing of dopamine. Dopamine is an hormone which normally is for happiness. So when you find people having Parkinson's disease, it means the level of dopamine has reduced in the brain, which leads to many symptoms like everything goes slow motion. So it makes somebody to feel that he feels everything, thinking, walking, everything goes slow motion, even anything that they do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the dopamine is the one that makes you happy. Yeah,
hormone.
It's a happy hormone.
Yeah, it makes you feel excited, and also it makes you very active.
Yeah.
So when it is reduced in the brain, it makes you everything goes slow motion.
What causes that?
The cause is not unknown. The cause is not known well. It is because sometimes we say most of the Parkinson's disease patients are old age. It might be because of interruption to the brain system due to the age. And also we have risk factors such as when you have trauma to the head, and also some diseases which can affect the brain so that it can prevent the dopamine from being absorbed to the brain. So it makes the brain cease from utilizing that dopamine, which will lead to that slowness of everything.
So what happens when there's a slowness of everything?
The slowness will affect the way the person walks, the way the person thinks, the way the person also does everything. Like you start getting like tremors. When people speaking, you take time to analyze what they are talking about, and then doing is another option where you do it slowly. So it is like it slows the system of the way the person used to do things in a normal way.
And what's the correlation between Alzheimer's and Parkinson's?
Alzheimer's also is a disease. Same affect the brain system. Alzheimer is not a lack of dopamine itself, but it is because the cells, which are the neurons, have been plagued. They have plaques of some proteins that they reduce the sensitivity of coordinating the mind.
Okay, and are these two diseases, because you mentioned Parkinson's happens more in older people, does it only affect older people, or does it also affect?
It can affect the young people, but it depends on the cause. But most of them, it affects the older people above 60 years and above. That is the number, because now the way our body functions, it has started already to wear out. The way the cells used to multiply,
Yeah.
the way we used to be active, now the machine is shutting down. So there is that risk of that, and other non-communicable diseases are setting in. Both the diseases have that disadvantage that when other diseases are setting in, like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac, they try to engulf the cells the normal way they do work.
And Alzheimer's is what people say that you tend to forget, right?
Yes, it has a memory loss.
Yeah.
And you see, it is a one type of dementia. Dementia is how people, you see, the whole people, they tend to forget things. The normality, the activity of daily living, they forget most of them, and it brings them back like the age of the kids, but they can't be treated as the kids. Now they are adults. So you when you are treating these patients, you redirect them what to do, but you don't treat them as the kids because they're adult enough to feel that emotional. When you are treating them, you treat them respectively so that they don't feel embarrassed.
Peter, is it automatic that when somebody gets older, let's say 80, 90, that they'll have to experience either Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's disease?
Not at all.
Okay.
It depends on an individual. Even healthy matters is totally different. Different people get different diseases, others don't get the diseases. So, but a large number, like Alzheimer, they say in America, about at the age of 65 and above, where the studies have been done, they say almost by 2021 there was almost 6 million of people who are suffering from the Alzheimer, and they are expecting more than that in the coming years. So it is something which is alarming. In Africa, we have not done many researches as the American because they are developed countries. So it depends on how it is. If we were to do the research in our place, for example, we have done simple researches in Africa or in Kenya about Parkinson's disease. We realize we have many patients with Parkinson's disease, and because of our culture and other issues, we have been treating them as witchcraft and other things. So if we do research in our country, we'll realize that we experience most of the diseases than the developed countries, because their medical equipments and other they need to get the diseases are very up to date.
Yeah. Okay. And Jared, what do you think are the warning signs and symptoms when it comes to Parkinson's disease?
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative condition that is brought about by the decrease of dopamine level. As my colleague has said, it's a happy hormone.
Yeah.
So it makes you excited. So once it's reduced in the system, you tend to get a lot of symptoms like tremors, slowness, and even rigidity. So in terms of the brain condition, the prognosis, we've also established that it affects not as young as 18 years old. There are people who are living with Parkinson's already. So when the ganglia area in the brain is kind of clogged up with these abnormal proteins, people tend to get Parkinson's symptoms. And also, the cause for Parkinson's is yet to be known, but people believe that due to environmental factors like the pesticides, herbicides, and also the heavy metals like copper, lead, manganese in the system, they tend to build up in the body system, mostly in the ganglia area of the brain. So when there is this clogging up, it reduces the flow of the dopamine level, and people tend to get these symptoms. And again, the early warning signs, people tend to get a bit of slowness and even tingling of their hands. You start developing, like you shake, then it begin with one side. It has it progresses slowly by slowly. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned an 18-year-old. What kind of exposure would have an 18-year-old experience to be able to have that?
Of course, there are some also which are medical induced symptoms, but you still treat them as Parkinson's. So to say so, it means that Parkinson's doesn't have to be. It's not an elderly people that get Parkinson's, but also the young can also get Parkinson's. So whenever you are exposed to maybe these heavy chemicals or a bit of your family history genetically can also determine your future on Parkinson's disease.
Okay.
Jared, before labda tuende kwa Peter Masese, does the ugonjwa, it's ni ugonjwa ama ni hali ama ni nini jamani? I even don't know. Anyway, lakini hiyo Parkinson, does it have stages? Because umetaja 18, tumeanza na wazee 18 pia kumbe inawezekana sababu kazitaja. Now, kuna stages ama ni Parkinson kupiga imekupiga?
As we've mentioned, it's a progressive disorder.
Yes.
To mean that it start from somewhere.
Okay.
So you will start shaking, maybe on the finger, then the hand, then the whole hand, then again one side gets now a bit shaky, and some people also tend to get very slow in movement, in doing things, even in thinking. Also, you tend to be so rigid, like stiff. You are unable to be flexible like you used to be. So those are the stages, and being that it's progressive, it might reach to a point that that you are wheelchair bound, unfortunately, because it's progressive. The dopamine level goes down and down. So for us in our support group, we tend to establish a way that people should be involved in medication wise. So the medicine slows down the rate or the progression of Parkinson's. Yeah. So it gives you a longevity, like you have to live long with Parkinson's, but Parkinson's does not kill. It's the symptoms that come with it.
Okay. Let's now take a look, because I want to look at our lifestyle choices, both for Alzheimer's and then also Parkinson's disease. How do our lifestyle choices lead to us? How do our lifestyle choices actually affect us?
Okay. In any disease, non-communicable diseases, you are told to live a life that is healthier.
Yeah.
Healthier life means doing a lot of exercises to make yourself active and remove toxic things from your body. Looking at nutrition, where you eat what is supposed to be utilized by your body, not excess that will make a deposit in your body that will harm you. And looking the lifestyle, the age, you intend to see the age when you are as I told you, our body is like a system. It is a car. The more the mileage, it needs less work. So if you have all this in place and making sure that regular checkups, knowing what is going on, because you have been told all these diseases are progressive. If you catch it earlier, you prevent the complications. So the earlier the better, so that you can reduce the burden to the family, the patient, and the community, or the nation at large.
What should I be looking out for?
Once you see any symptoms that leads to these two diseases, you need to go to the physician or any medical personnel so that they diagnose it earlier. If they diagnose it earlier, they start treatment earlier, they lessen the complication. We have said it is a progressive, no cure for this, but we improve the way you are living. We improve, you become independent, dependent as possible. Dependent. So if you used not to walk, we give you dopamine. We do exercises through physiotherapist. You start walking and doing by yourself everything, the daily activity of living. So if we leave you out for some time, the complication will never be reversed. So that is why we normally say detect it earlier, treat it, so that you can maintain a productive life. Because if we leave you, you continue to the complication, no reverse, and again, it will encounter a lot of loss to the family. Imagine you are alone in the family, you're taking care of two parents, one has Parkinson's disease, and when you leave the patient to complicate, it means you will wash give birth to that patient, you will feed that patient, and you are not going to come back to the normal, even if you give treatment. So the much earlier detection will stop the complication, which will be more of a loss to us, because you'll be like selling everything. The drugs are expensive. You are doing all the service to the patient, so you will be committed to the patient than working other things so that you can earn or give other people assistance.
Yeah. Okay. And let's look at now the challenges that caregivers experience when supporting someone with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. What are they?
There are several challenges the caregiver face. One of them is psychological support.
Yes.
Sometimes when you stay with a patient, you know how sad it is.
Yeah.
You see the patient suffering, you feel emotional, and you have nothing to do, especially when it has progressed. And the reality is this person is going to die. So it makes you psychologically traumatized. The second one, financially, you are drained completely because the drugs are expensive. You need to do some tests. You need to, not only that, when you have these diseases, the other non-communicable diseases are exempted. They will also join. If you had hypertension, diabetes, now you add another burden of Parkinson's disease. You see, that is another challenge. So you will be like making money. In case of developing, you are coming back to treat these patients.
Yeah.
Also, they have that we have lesser neurologists in the country. You can count them. Like Mombasa, you have the ones we know. We have the two, Dr. Salim side and the Dr. Baga. So the two neurologists, when you go to see them, it is a hill on a mountain, because you go to Aga Khan or Coast General. And Coast General, you see, it is a public hospital. The queue to see that neurologist is very tall, if we can say.
Yeah.
So it means many things happen in the way you can afford. So you might be going to somewhere and getting any doctor to see you, then you get the drugs.
Are there myths and misconceptions around Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in our community?
There are many, because we come from different communities.
Kwenye tuko.
Yeah, in Mombasa,
Yeah.
we have a movie we made to enlighten people, shaking the...
It's Shaking Hands with the Devil.
The Devil.
We produced these films in Kilifi and even part of Mombasa, just to enlighten people on the myths and misconception of Parkinson's disease. And again, maybe I forgot to mention on the lifestyle. You see, we all have factors that attributes to Parkinson's. We know them. First of all, to say maybe pesticides. So we should watch out on what we consume, especially in the farms. Make sure when you get your fruit, vegetables, you have to clean them so well, because you don't know the kind of pesticide or the chemicals that were used there. And also, it said I'll mention alcohol or maybe other things
Yeah.
that toxificate the neurons or the nerves that makes you vulnerable to or expose you to such kind of Parkinson's. And again, on Alzheimer's, you see the brain has those neurons, okay?
Mhm.
So when the abnormal proteins links between, it's like embolism, something like embolism. So if there is a flow of something, then you tend to block it. It means that there is no point from point A to point B. So the communication, Alzheimer's is about brain communicating with
Yeah.
the system. So in case these proteins blocks the communication system, that is the neurons, it means that you will tend to forget, become your memory become despaired. And also we also had to mention that we have very little neurologists, like it has been mentioned.
Mhm.
We have also Dr. Maina is a neurologist, and those are the challenges that we are facing in Mombasa and
Yeah.
whichever places. So caregivers tend to get a lot of psychology. I mean, they tend not to get that support adequately because finance and lack of adequate neurologists around. People they don't know where to turn to. And again, we tend not on the myths. People believe that it's witchcraft, and there are so many people that have not come out because the way the system or any other person will look up to them or down to them. It means that we still have a lot of work to do to champion on the Parkinson's and Alzheimer's as well. So the myths and misconceptions are rampant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to talk about lifestyle habits that can reduce the risk of degenerative diseases. Can we talk about that so that also as we're listening in and as we're learning, we're able to know what to do, right? To even be able to delay the process. Yeah. So are there lifestyle habits that can reduce the risks of neurodegenerative diseases?
Of course, there are quite a number.
Yeah.
One, you have to. I don't want to talk about people consuming alcohol or they maybe look down upon them, but it plays a role.
Okay.
So you have to consume it in a matter of that it doesn't affect you or toxicate your system. And again, in the farm, we have to be so watchful enough that we check on the farm chemicals that we use.
Yeah.
As much as possible, we should go back to the green part, like everything to be natural. If in places that you can avoid use of pesticides or herbicides or any other farm chemicals, please don't use them. And again, you have to be careful on your surroundings. Make sure it's clean enough. And again, you don't have to keep fighting people all around, because when you get traumatized in the head, like beaten up in the head, a lot of things can happen. So we be watchful and mindful on what we consume.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Takurudisha now, because tunasema the world is evolving.
Correct.
Masese pale amesema America, they have done a lot of research.
Yeah.
What about hapa kwenye nchi yetu? Ni research gani ambazo zimefanywa na tumepiga hatua gani? New ways of treatment na therapies zenye ziko.
Wow, thank you very much about that. Like we have said, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, they are all underrated. People don't look much into them. So a lot of people, even in the medical sector, even in the public sector, they tend not to understand about this neurodegenerative condition. So as per now, there are not much work that has been done in Kenya, and that's why we are here, like to champion on this system. Currently, there is an ongoing study with KEMRI. We tend to get proper way of diagnosing Parkinson's. You find that people believe up to now to say there is no systematic way of diagnosing Parkinson's. It means that you only physically observe. When person having these tremors, rigidity, slownessness, you tend to say that that is Parkinson's. But now, KEMRI, together with the TRAPCAF community, with Kenya Parkinson's Care Network, they are coming with a tool to help in diagnosis. Right now, they are collecting samples like the sebum, the serum, the urine, stool, and the soil that they are going to incorporate to a toolkit to come up with a proper way of diagnosis. The same way when you go to check for malaria, there is a way blood is taken. So that's how we are going. So we are really fighting on how to make this research come clearly with in our Kenya, and it will be a big one. Correct.
All right. And then how can families and communities support someone living with neurodegenerative disease?
Okay.
We're looking at now the role the community plays in all this.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we are creating awareness to different communities. We are working with people who cannot even come to the hospital. We go to the community. We have been having different support groups. Currently, we have two. We started with the Mombasa. We have gone to Kilifi, but we have been covering almost all over Kenya. We have branches to Nairobi. We have branches to Western. So we are working in such a way, creating awareness to this community and making sure that they understand this is a disease, is not witchcraft. And when they have those patients, they should accommodate them. We give them free healthy talks. We support them financially sometimes when we have funds. We support them also to buy drugs because they are expensive when we have funds. So we are making sure that we reach these people. They understand what is the disease, the signs and symptoms, so that they don't mistaken to be witchcraft, the treatment which is needed. And most of this, because we have told you it is a continuous process of a disease until they complicate and somebody dies because there is no cure, we normally do that educational and preparing these people psychologically on the end product of this process. So we are doing it regularly. Every month we have every month we have a support group where they come with their relatives. We go to the if they are unable to come, sometimes when they have complicated, they are at home. We make visits to different counties. Already we have patients as far as Kwale. We have Taita Taveta. We normally travel and go and see them when they are on bed because they are hours. They used to come to the group. Now they are not coming. We have to visit them. So as we go there, as we preach this gospel, most of the people, they come and understand the diagnosis, and they are now becoming accepting the disease, and they are not treating it as a myth.
Okay. And what treatment options are available for someone with Parkinson's disease?
We have different types of treatments. Actually, it is not only replacing the dopamine, which we normally replace with drugs like levodopa, but we also have different specialities who come in when the patient has suffered from Parkinson and Alzheimer. One of them is you have to include physical activities, like a physiotherapist who can make sure that these people work out. And this working out will make them stiffness and numbness to go away so that they can walk either properly and reduce the risk of fall. Because if you walk slowly, you'll be in one way or another to get a fall. Another thing is, if they are still complicating, we also have occupation therapy. Occupation therapy is somebody who restores the function, like making clothes which are easier for them to be independent. Like, for example, a shirt which you can open like this instead of when they are shaking and making their buttons. So occupation therapy is also important. without forgetting about the nutritionist who will advise them that during the treatment they should not take a lot of protein. The protein and cover the process of absorbing the drug which they are using, that is cyanomethyl levodopa. Also psychologically, we take care of this patient, be the patient himself or herself and the ones taking care of them. You have said when you have a patient, is not the patient suffering alone.
Yeah.
Mentally you are suffering, either financially, physically, and other emotionally. So we take care, we have a psychologist who will go and talk to this person and reassure them and give them hope and how to deal with some simple stress on how to deal with them and overcome this lot of challenges.
Yeah, so maybe to add on the few,
Yeah.
on awareness, we are doing very great. Currently, we are working on this coming 11th. We will be at Pwani University to make awareness with the students to proper identification and referral of people with Parkinson's. And again, we are also coming up with a table tennis event that also will help in management of Parkinson's to raise awareness. And again, on the support group, there are quite a number that are also working hand in hand with us in Kisumu, Nairobi. One is coming up in Nakuru, Kilifi, there is in Mombasa as well. So we are doing a massive impact in the community to help reduce the stigma related to Parkinson's disease. And again, on the treatment, we have levodopa and carbidopa. Cinnamate has two molecules, which is levodopa and carbidopa. Levodopa is the precursor for dopamine. It helps the brain stimulate the lost dopamine. And the carbidopa, at least it's for sustainability until the next time that you are going to take the medication. Currently, we have very few in the country, unfortunately, and some of the pharmaceutical companies withdrew from the Kenyan market, citing that there are no patients and they are running at a loss. So it means that it's very expensive and very scarce. So we tend to support this patient and, if need be, to champion on how to get this medicine available, even if it means to petition the government to come up with a system, a way of making this medicine available or being produced locally. So that will be of help to the patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time. We've been speaking to Jared Otieno and Peter Mases. They are from Kenya Parkinson's Care Network. What's your parting shot as we wrap up?
I didn't introduce myself well properly.
Yes.
I'm a medical scientist.
Yes.
I work at Coast Neurology Center with a neurologist. And we have just to say that Parkinson's disease, it doesn't just affect the patient, it affects the whole community. So it's upon us as the community to come up with a system of how to manage these people with Parkinson's, in even creating a conducive environment for people with Parkinson's, because it's not just a person impacted by Parkinson's, but it's the whole community. If we make the community much aware of Parkinson's, then we will be having a better place to have these patients.
All right.
Correct.
Okay, and on top of what Jared has said, we would like to have a future where most of our patients are dealt with. So that is why we are working on government, private, all those doctors, they know that we have a Parkinson and they normally refer patient to us. In the future, we are planning so that we reach all the members in the community and make sure that they get the service. And at the end, the government will allow us to have a good channel of importing drugs at a safe and cheaper prices so that they can afford, because most of the people who are having these diseases, they are unable to afford those treatments, and it is like it is part of the disease which are neglected. We are dealing with what we used to have, like malaria and other things.
Yeah.
So in the future, we'll request the government to have a lot to allow us to do research and do everything to show them that we are willing to eradicate these diseases which are associated with the myths of African, that it is witchcraft, so that we avoid the deaths, unnecessary deaths which are occurring. Because like Kilifi, they have been burning and killing some of the members of the community because of the symptoms, and they are innocent.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. Yeah, thank you so much for making time and for creating awareness around this. We have learnt